everybody, and welcome back to A Beer a Day with TK. It's a cold one here in the beer shed in Findlay, Ohio, and the Ginger Yeti and I are getting ready to check out a new beer. What's going on, my brother?
Oh, it's kind of weird being in the same location for multiple videos. Not used to this.
So if you hadn't seen it on the channel, Anderson started doing a series of videos called the Ginger Yeti Road Beers. So if you didn't know, he goes out on tour with a lot of these heavy metal bands. So one awesome part of that is he gets to be in different cities every day.
Sometimes it's awesome.
It's a lot of work, I'm sure, and I'm sure it's hard.
Sometimes you end up in Kadoka, South Dakota, which ended up being a really cool time.
Yeah.
But still, if you've never heard of that, there's a reason why.
Yeah, fair enough. But he started doing some videos from the road, so checking out beers that he's picked up on the tour and doing them from different hotels across the country. So check it out. There's a playlist down below, wherever it is when you look for the playlist, called Ginger Yeti Road Beers.
I think Revelstoke was the first one.
It was.
Which is another crazy, weird place to end up.
British Columbia. Which is actually where we got... Anderson picked this up, right at Revelstoke.
Yes.
We have the new tin tacker. I got to hang it up here eventually. But this one's odd. It has 3M, like these strips on the back, and there's not a hole for a nail.
There's not a hole for a nail?
No.
I didn't realize that.
No. But it doesn't matter. I could just drill one in.
Well, that's Canadian engineering for you.
It is. Now, the only downside is I'm going to have to rearrange some of these boys up here and figure out where I'm going to fit it, because I want this somewhere where it looks nice.
Established 1996. That was a good year.
Yeah, it was. What was that? Like, is that the second or third time you failed out of college in 96? Or how?
No. That's why I started college.
All right. The beer we have today is this old-fashioned inspired ale from Guinness, and this is from their Open Gate Brewery, and this is the one that's down there in Baltimore, Maryland. I've had a couple beers out of here. I think the first one I had was that Baltimore Blonde.
Right.
Which I do not like. I know a lot of people do. It's not for me. I've had some other ones from them, though, that I do dig, so... happy to be able to find this one. I think a 4-pack of this cost me about $25.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap. But I'm kind of a sucker for Guinness, and whenever the variants come out or different Guinness ones come out, I always try to buy them. So, $25.
First observation here, which is kind of shocking to me for a Guinness product. Just looking in the bottle, it's relatively watery and translucent.
Well, it's an ale, though, remember. It's not like stout.
But still, as a product of Guinness, that's not what I expect.
We'll check it out. This says...
preconceived notions, right?
This is supposed to be, I guess, obviously, like old-fashioned, the drink, old-fashioned inspired ale.
Do you like old fashions?
I'm not some gangster from the 30s who drinks old fashions. It's like an old person.
Have you already drank so much you don't remember how old you are?
Listen, I don't care how old I am anymore. Age is just a number in your brain, bro. It doesn't matter
Agreed.
what it is.
Agreed.
But again, old fashioned is not a drink that... I mean, maybe it's trendy, hipster, cool again or something, but old fashions and those things are kind of like old school drinks.
I do enjoy old fashions, and surprisingly enough, I mentioned earlier Kadoka, South Dakota. I was in a distillery, which I wish I could remember the name of now.
Are you sponsored by Kadoka, South Dakota, like the Tourist Bureau?
And spent a good day drinking old fashions. It's a great whiskey drink.
I would say this. I'm not an alcohol drinker. I'm a beer drinker. I drink beer with the best of them. I drink alcohol.
I was about to say, what do you mean you don't drink alcohol?
No,
well, fair enough. You clarified it.
If I drink liquor, it ends poorly. Asked my wife, went to a work party recently. It ended poorly. People start doing shots of tequila. Last shot of tequila I had was in Cancun in like 1997 or 8 or something.
What, through a straw?
No, dude. They were pouring it down your neck out there, brother. It was... I actually got a concussion. I thought I broke my hand. I thought that we almost got abducted in a illegal cab. This is another series of stories. But I don't drink that stuff for that reason. So I probably haven't had an old-fashioned since bartending school in the mid-90s, to be honest.
Do we need to do a fireside chat with TK?
Recount my most dangerous life situations? Yeah, possibly. So anyway, this says, ale aged in Kentucky bourbon barrels with orange and cherry. So, okay. We got a little bit of a blurb on the back. It says, when you hear old-fashioned, certain flavors come to mind. Warming vanilla and oak, sweet cherry, and bright orange. We aged this cocktail-inspired beer in Kentucky bourbon barrels and then finished it with orange and cherry. I like orange. I like cherry. I do like bourbon. It just usually makes me fight the walls. So this is a very tempting drink, at least from what I'm reading here.
So two things. One, first of all, brewers or designers, whoever makes these labels, once again, these fonts and the font sizes and the color combinations are terrible.
It's very difficult to read.
It's difficult to read.
Yeah.
Gold foil on black in fine print.
Now it is kind of neat because it's textured. The mint one was
But
like
the front
same.
is fine. But the back on this printing,
Yeah, it's hard to read.
if you're out there and design beer labels, take note.
Yeah.
Make it so people can read it easily, especially drunk people.
Or old
Now-
heads who are paying $25 for your beers.
I did notice something I've never seen before on a beer label.
What's that?
This website down here that we should have done some research on before we did this video,
Drink IQ.
drinkiq.com.
Oh, I never heard of that.
I have not either. I wonder what that is. We should have looked that up earlier.
We'll
Maybe
check it
we'll-
out. Maybe we'll do a short or something. Talk about Drink IQ. Though it's probably been around forever and we just don't know.
So back to the beer.
10.8% ABV. Couldn't find anything on the IBUs. Does fairly well ratings-wise. 3.92 on Untappd. What the heck?
Wow.
Having a hard time. Usually these come right off with the...
This will be my first pour of the night. Let's see how well this goes. I'm going to try not to...
The Yeti is notorious for his
But
terrible knobhead pours, as my man Boolman would say.
Ha.
I think you got lucky and that just doesn't pour with much head, to be brutally honest. What do you think?
Fair enough.
Ratings-wise, 3.92 on Untappd, 4.08 on Beer Advocate, although there were only 8 check-ins. 89, very good. Color-wise, if we break out our Brew HQ chart, what are you thinking, 15,
15,
16?
16, yeah. I mean, it's got
Deep amber.
It's really clear.
Yeah, you can see
Really clear.
crystal
but
clear.
But it's like a reddish, like cherry juice kind of color almost.
Yeah, I mean, amber.
And you know,
see some fine bubbles.
that's really close to the color of an old fashioned.
You know, it's funny. Before I put it to my nose, there, you could pick up those fruit smells from
Oh,
when
yeah.
it was up here. It had like a kind of like an off-white head. It was kind of thin, dissipated relatively quickly, but looked okay. Smell
I mean, I'm getting the vanilla, the bourbon,
and cherry or something's
cherry,
coming through big
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Now, I usually complain about the fruits I don't like. Limes, all those fruit ones like mangoes and stuff like that. Cherries, I adore. I absolutely love anything that's cherry flavored. It's probably my favorite thing in the entire world. I think I just paid like $15 for cherries from Chile the other day at Costco because it's winter. You can't find
Right.
them. But I bought them anyway because I love them. I picked that up. You do pick up the vanilla.
Yeah, the vanilla, the bourbon.
Yeah, you pick up that oaky bourbon barrel kind of
Yes,
smell.
yes. And then the cherries.
Cherry
definitely.
comes through.
I don't
know if I get the orange as much.
get
on
the
nose.
orange.
What else did it say? I saw some other stuff out there, but what did it say on here? Yeah, I mean, I think you pick up most of the smells
Yeah.
it's supposed to. Now, is this what an old-fashioned smells like? I honestly couldn't tell you. I haven't had one in so long. But Anderson, in his illustrious travels to the great state of South Dakota, spent an entire day drinking them. So what do you think? Does it smell like one?
I mean, minus the like whiskey alcohol smell. Yeah, it does.
The other flavors, like the fruity kind of flavors, you mean?
No, I mean the straight up bourbon
Oh, okay.
and
That's missing, or that?
alcohol smell. That's missing.
Right,
Like,
of course. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, the other flavors,
like I think,
what
like-
I mean, are there.
which kind of shocking because this says it's 10.8% alcohol. So I would kind of expect a alcohol aroma to it. Kind of like you would get with a whiskey sour, but it's not there. But other than that, it does
Smells like an old fashioned.
smell relatively similar to an old fashioned.
So we should have like a cherry and a sword in it or something like that.
And an orange slice.
There
And it would
you
be
go.
perfect. Maybe you should have this beer with a cherry and an orange slice in it.
I'll tell you this, dude. I went to Globe Bartending School in Morristown, New Jersey, in about 1996. Todd was the guy who ran the place. He looked like an extra from The Sopranos. He probably beat me to death for not knowing what should be in an old fashioned. Even though it's been 25 years, I should know.
Before the era
I'm
of YouTube.
sorry, Todd. Well, back then, listen, you got your drinks. It was in like a little Rolodex thing too, right? Like now,
Oh,
you
yeah.
probably got an app with everything on it. It was a Rolodex. Let's give it a shot, bro.
Cheers.
Cheers. Medium body. Probably the higher end of medium. There's a little bit to it. I wouldn't say it's full, but medium full. Medium full. Higher end of medium.
Yeah. It's kind of little bit syrupy to it.
It's a bit viscous.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of surprising because I think you started us off by saying it looked quite watery
It did.
in the bottle.
It looks like water in the glass.
Now, I will say this. When I drink this, if I get like a mixed drink feel, again, no expert on old fashions, but it's like a mixed drink feel where you kind of get like I think up front maybe you get a little bit of sweetness, like a little bit of fruitiness, and then you kind of get like that big, like a bourbon kind of taste to it. And like when you drink it, you kind of, it's 10%. It doesn't burn per se, but you know you're drinking it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, you know there's some alcohol in that, but it doesn't burn. But you get that.
It drinks like a mixed drink, I think, almost.
You get the alcohol in the mouth, but it doesn't burn, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, right up front was vanilla,
Yeah.
and some bourbon and some cherry.
Mm.
I mean, this is definitely reminiscent of an old fashioned. I'm kind of missing, and maybe because it's a little cold, because the cold does affect
The flavors.
the flavors. I am missing the citrus notes to it.
Yeah, I would think that's one thing that's missing. I don't really pick up the orange. You do definitely get big oaky, like bourbon barrel oak. You get that big time in spades. You get the sweet cherry. You get everything else that it says. I'm just not hitting the orange. Now, maybe it's supposed to be like an orange bitters kind of thing, or I don't know. It said sweet. Did it say sweet orange on it?
I mean, normally it's garnished with an orange
It said
slice.
sweet cherry and orange puree. So
Yes.
it's not orange zest or orange, like a bitter orange kind of thing. So it should be a sweeter orange, I think. And to be honest, I don't know that I'm getting that. But the rest of it is coming through and is working for me.
No, I mean, there's maybe my imagination can kind of think there's some orange at the end of it,
Is it?
but
This is like when I was in college. I used
it's
to do
not.
this.
It's not prominent. It's not strong at all, and it could be my imagination.
When I was in college, there was a Cindy Crawford poster. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Which one? The one,
one
on the
everybody had?
Ferrari?
No, there's one she was standing there like this or something.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
if you squint just right,
You could see an areola.
it looks like her hands aren't there. I think if you squint just right, you can pick up the orange. I'm not getting it, brother. The other stuff is hitting though. I like it.
Yeah, I absolutely like it. I mean, this is definitely reminiscent of a old fashioned. And again, you know there's booze in here or alcohol in here, but it's not
I'm looking for the other
burning.
Guinness
It's not offensive.
Other than my 8,000 Oktoberfest beers, I save every Guinness bottle.
Oktoberfest is over. You have to remove those until next year.
It's Oktoberfest all year here in the beer shed, dude. It's always Oktoberfest. But all the Guinness bottles get to stay as well. And I had, the last year was the mint one. It was someone we couldn't find, the gingerbread man one or something. It was like a gingerbread
There was
one.
some weird one we couldn't find.
Yeah, it sucked. I wish I could find that. I don't know. I think they've been doing okay with these. I mean, you know, like I said, when I first tried the blonde, I didn't like it. I thought it was garbage. I still think it's garbage. I don't like it. I don't care what anybody else says. You're free to your opinions. I'm free to have mine. I didn't like that. But the other ones they've turned out, I've been a fan of. I've liked them. A little expensive. So again, $6 a piece and change roughly.
You know, I was kind of worried because it says that it starts with an English barley wine.
Yeah.
And I'm not...
Yeah, I hate barley wine. I know you're not a huge fan.
Right, not a huge fan of barley wines, but
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
this is good.
Yeah. So old-fashioned inspired ale from Guinness Open Gate Brewery out of Baltimore, Maryland. Thumbs up. I like it.
I would absolutely give this a thumbs up as well. This is delicious. This is really good. Even though you can tell that there's some booze in it,
It's a sipping beer.
I think this can catch up to you. I think this is one of those beers because there's no burn to it. You kind of get some alcohol in the mouth, kind of, but
Yeah, you don't feel it going down.
no,
like
there's
as
no
you drink
burn to it.
Yeah.
And I think, just like an old fashioned, this could sneak up on you.
As it did in Anderson when he was in, what's it called? Paducah?
Kadoka.
South Dakota. Listen, if you guys need someone to be on your tourist board, the Ginger Yeti is available. Hey, if you've had this beer, jump in down below. Let us know what you think about it. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. Hey, till next time.
Cheers.